His eye are fled, the ghoul next door. Welcome back to another episode of Nightbleeds, and today we're talking about the 2004 movie, Shaun of the Dead. So a zombie apocalypse breaks out, disrupting the monotonous of the lives of two slackers, Shaun and his buddy Ed, and they find themselves having to try to save their loved ones and make it to the only safe place they know, which is the bar down the street. Along the way, they have to fight off a bunch of zombies, and they meet up with another group of survivors, and not a lot happens. A lot happens, but nothing really happens, if that makes any sense. So this is actually the first movie in the, and I'm going to get the name of this wrong, the Three Flavors Cornetto Trilogy. Followed, of course, by Hot Fuzz and The World's End. Each movie has an ice cream flavor that's directly connected to the theme of the overall movie. So this is a buddy comedy, but it's also a romantic comedy because our lead character of Shaun, he is going through this with both through this experience with both his best friend and his recently ex-girlfriend. The big themes that I found in this were letting go, forgiveness, trust, responsibility, taking responsibility, the repetitiveness of modern life, how we have such low expectations nowadays. We've all become so accustomed to any lack of willingness, especially, unfortunately, my generation, which is Generation X, also the generation of the characters in the movie. The fact that the bar that they go to every single night is their safe place. It's the one place that they feel they can survive this big zombie apocalypse, and it's their big goal. We see little nods throughout the entire movie for the big zombie franchises of the Night of the Living Dead and Return of the Living Dead and The Evil Dead and all those Dead movies. The character of Shaun, he is working in a department store, electronics store, just like Bruce Campbell's character of Ash in the Evil Dead movies. And this little joke with the name tag and everything. They are held up in one place, which is the bar, much like in both the other franchises of being in the mall and being in the farmhouse. The whole metaphor, this movie is pretty much a metaphor for finally growing up and having to let go. There's this one scene where they're fighting off the zombies and they're using their record collection to do so. They're just tossing the records, hoping to sever a head or something, and the records keep breaking, and they're fighting over it. They're like, let's use this record. No, that's got special meaning. Well, let's use this one. No, it was the first record I ever got. And it just the unwillingness to say, you know what, I don't need this anymore. And then later on in the movie, both of Shaun's parents get turned into zombies, and it's that emotional tightrope that he has to go through. Do I do the right thing or do I hang on? There's a scene in the opening where Shaun is being dumped by his girlfriend, and Ed is a few feet away, and Ed is playing a video game, and he's kind of rudely commenting about the game, but it's exactly paralleling what you know Shaun is thinking. There's this wonderful push-pull kind of relationship going on. You have the Simon Pegg character of Shaun, who's literally trapped between what he wants, which is the relationship with his ex-girlfriend, and the loyalty he has to his buddy, who represents his past. And there's more than a few times in the movie where somebody says, he's holding you back. You know, he's dead weight. He's holding you back. And at the end of the movie, where the Nick Frost character of Ed gets bitten and turned into a zombie, it's a case of the big dilemma is, do I leave him here and escape and save myself, or do I stay loyal and, you know, and we find out that he, of course, finds a way to have his future and his past and make it work. I kind of thought the foreshadowing, the lead-in of daily life, already feeling like it's a zombie apocalypse. Like we see Shaun go to work, and the people on the bus are very unenergetic. They're just not energetic at all. There's no life in them. And this is shown throughout the first 15 minutes of him going about his daily life. From people he works with, to the guy who runs the corner store down the street, to the kids in the neighborhood. And every time he bumps into somebody in the first few minutes, he says, the next time I see you, you're going to be dead. And of course, it's the inside joke that the next time he does bump into them, they're zombies. This movie, I found Shaun of the Dead to be ambitious in the fact that it pokes fun at itself for the exact lack of ambition the characters have. Their only goal is to survive the night and make it to the one safe place they know, and that's the bar down the street, you know. So Shaun of the Dead. Some of you are wondering, how is it a vampire movie? Well, besides the fact that, as I've stated before, the entire zombie pop culture genre as we know it literally came from one vampire book, I Am Legend. Vampires and zombies in folklore, they were pretty much the same thing. You know, and if you look at it, you have both vampires and zombies are spread like a plague through a bite, turning someone into a mindless creature that survives off of blood and flesh and are basically just reanimated corpses. That is the baseline, and you know, things evolve from there. I found it interesting that every zombie apocalypse film, there's always somebody who is immune, but it's never really explained why. There's just miraculously, you know, a handful of people who become the survivors, and it's never explained why that is, you know. And again, this is something that goes back to I Am Legend, the book from 1954, which, even though I Am Legend is a vampire book, it spawned the entire zombie genre. The entire zombie apocalypse genre comes back to a vampire book. There's this great montage at the end of what has happened afterwards with the zombie culture becoming like everything on the television is zombie related, and I thought that was so mind-blowing, like that they predicted how the zombie culture would be affecting television and movies and everything, you know, 13, 14 years later. So that was a brilliant bit of foreshadowing, you know, like how real life copies art. So this is actually one of the selections that my friend Heather from All Roads Lead to the Kitchen had picked for her In the Kitchen with Zombie Fiction. So I don't know if I'm going to have time to put it on this video, but there will be a recipe based on this movie. Whether it's a separate video or whether it's part of this one, I don't know. So, thanks for watching. Tune in again next time. And until then, creeping screams.